Okay, welcome to today's deep dive. Picture this. Imagine international trade is essentially the world's most chaotic airport. And every single product, I mean, from a tiny microchip to a crate of mangoes, is a passenger just trying to catch a flight.
It's a really great visualization, actually. And just like human passengers, none of those products are getting on the plane without a passport.
Right, but here's the bottleneck. If a passenger shows up with the wrong passport, they don't just breeze through security. They
They're
get,
pulled aside, straight into the interrogation room.
yeah, which in the logistics world is customs detention.
Exactly. And the passport we are focusing on today is the harmonized system, or the HS code. Looking at our sources, it's clear this code and its strategic cousin, the SITC, are effectively the only things stopping your goods from rotting at a border.
Let's decode this passport first, because to the untrained eye, an HS code just looks like a random string of numbers, but it's actually a pretty strict logic puzzle.
It is. It's basically a global address system for objects.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the code like a street address. The first two digits are the district, the broad category. The next two are the street, which is a bit more specific. And the next two are the house.
District, street, house. So that gives us 6 digits total.
Right. And here is the key insight from the materials. Those first 6 digits are the global standard.
So whether you are shipping to New York or Nairobi or Tokyo,
Those 6 numbers are legally identical everywhere, but individual countries will add extra digits at the end.
like an apartment number.
Yeah, an apartment number for their own specific tariffs or statistical needs.
And getting this address wrong is not just a minor typo. Our sources highlight some pretty massive financial stakes here.
Oh, massive. You might assume a duty is 0%, right? But a single-digit shift could trigger a 12% tax.
Which totally wipes out your margin.
Completely. It affects VAT rates, it determines if you need a veterinary license, or, and this is really critical, it could flag an item as dual-use military tech.
Wow. Which brings heavy sanctions into play.
Heavy sanctions, so accuracy is everything.
But this is where the guides show it gets tricky, because you have to be something of a detective. You can't just classify based on what an item is called.
No, you classify based on what it is. You have to look at the essence of the item.
The dried fruit example stood out to me here. On the surface, a dried apricot is a dried apricot. Why complicate it?
Because the HS system asks, is it just dried? That is one code. Is it candied?
That would be a totally different code.
Entirely different.
Yeah.
Is it mixed with nuts? Now it is a prepared foodstuff. Suddenly, that healthy snack you're shipping is in a completely different tax bracket just because of the processing method.
It seems the system really punishes vagueness. Take the pump example from the text. You can't just write pump on an invoice and expect it to clear.
Customs agents do not care about the word pump. They need the mechanics. Is it for water or corrosive chemicals?
Right. Is it centrifugal or reciprocating?
Does it have a motor attached? If you just write spare parts or food product, you are essentially handing them a passport with no photo.
Speaking of parts, there is a distinction in the sources that seems to trip a lot of people up. The difference between a part and an accessory.
Yes, this is a classic litigation trap. A part is essential. The machine simply will not function without it.
Okay. And an accessory.
An accessory improves the machine or adds a feature, but the base machine works fine without it.
Got it. So a phone screen is a part, but a phone case is an accessory.
Precisely. And confusing the two can lead to significant retroactive fines if an auditor catches it 3 years down the line.
Okay, so HS codes are the how, the specific logistics of clearing the border. But we also have this other acronym in the mix, SITC. Where does that fit in?
Well, if the HS code is for the customs officer on the ground, the SITC, the Standard International Trade Classification, is for the economist or the CEO.
So it's less about can I bring this in and more about what is the market doing?
Correct. Think of the SITC as the aisle signs in a supermarket. It groups goods to track broad economic trends.
Like which export sectors are growing?
Yeah, or where the niches are. It is a tool for strategy and long-term analysis, not for calculating that specific duty rate at the border.
HS for the immediate border hurdle, SITC for the long-term strategy. Makes sense. Now, for the listener who has a product sitting on a loading dock right now, the sources suggest a quick 30-second audit.
Yeah, it's a final sanity check. Before you ship, ask yourself, what is it really? What is it made of? And how processed is it?
Is it raw material or a finished product?
Exactly. Answering those questions now beats answering them in an interrogation room later.
Definitely. But there is one final thought here that is pretty fascinating to me. These systems are incredibly rigid, streets and houses and rules, But innovation is messy.
Oh, it is. We are inventing hybrid materials and products every single day that physically do not fit into the 20th century architecture of the harmonized system.
So the real question for you to chew on is, what happens when we invent something that simply has no address? Can bureaucracy ever adapt as fast as human creativity? That is the real challenge for the future of trade. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.